Rugged, lightweight, comfortable, handcrafted rockin' leather boots. Made to work all day and be out all night. RockinLeather.com. Introducing the Rixie Generation 2 Dog Stand. Lightweight, collapsible, and engineered for versatility. This stand is built with a laser-cut powder-coated steel frame, tempera aluminum legs, and a durable Duramesh fabric. Weighing just under 8 pounds, it's effortless to carry and set up. With a working load limit of 120 pounds, it attaches to nearly any tree. Available now at RixieOutdoors.com.
Winter Productions, content creation company that is here to tell your story, whether it's about the love of your life or capturing the chance of a lifetime. We are here to tell your story. Welcome back to another episode of Life Between the Volleys, brought to you by Rockin' Leather, Dirty Duck Coffee, Rixie Outdoors, Winter Productions, and KES Waterfowlers. Oh, here we go. Okay, we've jumped over. Now, how do I get that to pull up that beautiful, that more, if I go like this? Does that make it better? Oh, Nicholas, this has been a tough one. Oh, yeah, that cleaned it up a bunch. So, we're back. We can't forget about Recoil Outdoors. And my volume has been screwing with me. There we go. And beautiful gentleman in the nice red shirt, my good friend Nick Watts, who literally had, we've hunted a ton together this year.
We have.
We have, and it's been highs and lows, bad shooting, good shooting. Let's just start. I mean, we'll start like kind of early December, Arkansas, and kind of work our way up to now, and then we're gonna talk from everything, little gadgets we've gotten to run this year that we're kind of excited about. Fun hunts and just like bullshit around about like what we think the rest of this is gonna turn into with all the snow outside, as we're days away from another snowstorm, and I don't know if we're gonna make it, but you didn't get to make the trip to Arkansas, sadly for you. I mean, it was such a ball of fun complete ass kickings that we took. Dude, it was just. Yeah, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm gonna throw another overlay on this real quick. We are going to copy this just because it could be a little bigger. There we go. Yeah, but like, yeah, man, it's just like, man, we were getting our asses handed to us down there, and it's bad when you can't shoot a wood duck. You know, it hasn't been, I mean, since we've gotten back here, I mean, I don't think I've really seen a wood duck. We've shot one together. We've seen one. Seen two.
Opening day,
we've seen a couple. Man, it's just like, is it not crazy to think of, like, I mean, of Arkansas, like, that's the biggest complaint every local has down there is people shooting wood ducks, and I would have paid $100 to shoot 10 wood ducks in 4 days.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of our second trip as a group. The first trip was probably Kentucky for Drew, and that was an ass kicking for himself on the way to Arkansas. And I mean, it's just crazy. I don't know what we're looking forward to this year, but like, I didn't see that coming. And I mean, it was a fun trip, and we learned a lot. Like we said, like you can learn something even when you're getting your ass kicked. We've both done it. We've both learned something as we've gotten our ass kicked. But like, I don't I don't really get what we need to do as far as. I mean, the only thing I know about changing our trip to Arkansas in December is go in January.
Huh. Weather's a factor, man.
And it's an ask. I mean, we haven't had weather till now, and I felt like we've had. We'll get into that in a second, but like the second stint of Arkansas would be next week, but I'm not making it because of the snow. It kind of put me behind at work, and kind of if I did it, it would make me like hate duck season, and I probably wouldn't get to hunt no more in West Virginia. So I'm going to choose to kind of forego Arkansas for 3 days to kind of stay here, which I don't know. We're in this big cold front, and last time we got this, like it opened up and was really good at the end of the season, but once again, it takes weather to get there. What's your thoughts on so far? I mean, like we played with still birds, and we'll get to that in a second. But like, have you felt like they've been a group of ducks that had gotten here since opening day?
Not especially. No, I mean we've seen a couple groups that I feel like were probably migratory groups, but I felt like right before opening day there was probably a big push of ducks because we saw a lot of ducks in big groups, and then we had a pretty good opener. And then ever since then, it's been smaller groups of birds that are weary and, almost call shy, almost decoy shy. They're all spread out really far and few between. I think that goes to, like you were saying, just stale birds that have been here a while. They start breaking up into small groups instead of those big migratory groups that are dumb and, looking for the first decoy spread they can find. So, I think this cold front could help us, or it could really hurt us. In that, I think birds are probably definitely pushed in, but will they stay? Will we get an opportunity to hunt them before all this weather pushes out? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking. We're days away from this, and I mean, we're not. I mean, we're sitting with 8-10 inches of snow in some areas, and we got more snow on the way, another 2 or 3 inches. I mean, you're talking. I don't know. In this layer of ice, it's going to get interesting. I think birds are going to get a good rest. I don't know what it's going to be like after that. To me, we had gotten a push of birds that we also lost before we even opened. Because I mean, I'd found snows, specks that weren't here when we opened. They were both gone.
Right.
Which is, man, just insane to think that we got them on the most littlest little rainstorms. But we also come out of a year with drought. So we had to play the game of, like, we're still trying to get, I think we're just now maybe back to normal water. So to me, like, we're just now back
probably
to
just now right at normal winter pool.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just crazy to think that we went how long without being, I mean, we went 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks without being normal pool in the winter, in a winter pool. And I just don't know if how long we're gonna stay there. It definitely taught. I think the cool thing out of this was the still birds was kind of a learning lesson to me, as far as the way we had to hunt them and how we had to change, and we had to move a bunch. I mean, jumping from area to area from hours apart to just change completely up. And like once you found them, you got one chance at them pretty much, and you were done. And then you had to go look another hour or two away to find the next group to play with.
Right. That's been the biggest challenge, is trying to find them, without having to drive 2.5 hours to get to them. And then, I know that's like that for pretty much everybody in the country, but our birds can get so spread out with the river and everything else that I feel like they're, that the river has so much water and it's such a big area that you'll have birds that, they'll be heavy concentrated where they've got a group an area has a couple thousand ducks, and then you move 10 miles south and they have nothing.
Yeah.
So it's just, and I know that's like that for most places in the country. It just makes it tough scouting and just trying to find.
Yeah, but you're also talking like those birds. I mean, I don't know, because I think back to Arkansas and some of the mistakes we made there was we did not push in and hunt tight enough on the areas that are going to hold birds. So, like, for Arkansas, you have, and this is something that kind of caught me off guard down there, and it's a learning lesson, I think, and you're going to appreciate that I learned this before you even get down there, was how much the birds trade with the private land. With the private land fields. I didn't realize they traded so much with it until I dealt with it. I thought it was more of they trade a little bit, they trade a lot, but they trade a tremendous amount. And, man, when it freezes or they get rain, they just hit those fields so much that if you're not in a flight path to a field, honestly, they really don't care. And they hug the, like, private property so much because there is so much pressure down there. I mean,
right.
We were looking at boat ramps with 30 and 40 boats a day at them. And we're talking, this is low water. Like, you have nowhere to go. I mean, we were running 2 mud motors and, like, having trouble getting away. I mean, we were still walking with 2 mud motors in a long ways, really. That was that was a pretty big one. I don't know what could kind of change to make it better, other than we did learn, that we need to hug those private lands a lot more. Up here, that's completely different because we don't have private lands holding birds. Right. They're not, like, you're not growing ducks here, or you're not farming for ducks like you do down there. So here, it's like you basically had to chase them on the river. And, dude, once they got stale, they just didn't give 2 shits about who you were or where you were. You had to go somewhere completely kind of off the X, way out of the path, and just catch them on the edge, and they'd be like, oh, that's new. And it worked very rarely, too. We'd scrape out 1 or 2 on that. It's nothing you want to do, but what do you think was something that, like, kind of caught you off guard this year so far?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm still just surprised by the amount of hunters and hunting pressure every year here, because we're not known as a waterfowl state. And I feel like there's, even in years where we see what we think are a lot of birds, there's really not a lot of birds here, no matter what. And then, just the way our terrain is in this state, the amount of huntable terrain you have, then you always have this influx of new hunters, and it's just gets harder and harder to find spots that are not just absolutely getting beat to death every single day. And I know that's that's probably something that a lot of other states deal with, but for a long time, I hate to sound like the back in my day crew, but when I first started, we'd see 3 and 4 boats a season. Now it's nothing to see 4 and 5 boats a morning, at every ramp on a Saturday. Used to be never see hardly anybody out hunting here. And now it's just kind of grown, and that's, I guess, good for the sport, but it makes it hard to hunt here as far as, consistently finding spots that can produce, that aren't, birds don't get weary of real fast.
Well, and also point out to that, we like it's not like down south. Like, okay, so 30 or 40 boats are putting in Arkansas. If you have 40 boats put in, I would put that at 25 groups hunting. I would assume a lot of those are doubled up hunts. Other than, kind of the crew I run with, no one really runs really multiple boats in a hole up here. And, I mean, it's lightweight, it's faster, you carry more gear in, more gear out. You carry kind of, and I'm not saying like bring 10 boats, every guy to a boat, but I mean, if you're going to hunt 6 guys, like, I mean, I've tried to bring 3 boats. I hunted 5 the other day with 3 boats. And I mean, and back to like the amount of people, like, I mean, we hunted 2.5 hours away north. I mean, a long ways north, and ran into someone just from our area. I mean, we're going that far looking for birds because it was just tough.
Yep.
But I mean, that's a normal, like you say, it's a normal case for everyone else. You go to Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, all those, they get up every morning and drive. A lot of them get up and drive 2 hours in the morning to go hunt. Hunt a Friday or Saturday. It's I mean, I guess we're spoiled when we only have to drive 30 minutes to hunt, but like, it's definitely one that like I take for granted, but I do get it at the same time. Like, man, it is nice when you don't have to drive real far.
Yeah, for sure.
And we don't have like there's only so much room out of these ramps because it's not like everywhere else where you can get in and then you got a WMA or NWR or something right there. But I don't know. I've enjoyed it. This has been kind of a fun season. I mean, I tried to take this season a little bit less caring about shooting birds and more about just the fun with it. And outside of Arkansas, I did come home Arkansas pretty salty. And that was known the first day. I was there to be a jerkhead and kill everything we saw. And that was the first day. I've tried not to be that greedy for the rest of the year. I've had a couple moments where I've been like, I got a little greedy. But it also comes with, I think I've gotten, as a hunter, I figured out a lot more and gotten a lot better at it. So it's the success rate has skyrocketed, and I think it like helps. It kind of feeds your want to shoot stuff. And it also helps with the guys I'm hunting with. I'm hunting with guys that are straight killers. I mean, you guys are. I mean, we've had very rarely 0 days. And usually when we've zeroed, we've been pretty surprised by that zero. Yeah, if one of us has had it. Sure. Man, I still don't know. I still think it's like crazy because we started out the year breaking ice, and now we're midway through and we're going to break some more ice. And me and you both hate breaking ice. We have done that and been burned once before, but it's worked once this year.
It's true. I'm usually not a fan of busting ice and waiting for him to come back.
Well, also, that was a horrible idea we had. The most worst idea we've ever had. I mean, yeah, that was a dumb idea.
Not a good one.
2 inches of ice was a lot more than just half-inch ice. Right. I mean, ice that my boat would set on top of versus ice that my boat will break. I mean,
right.
I don't know, man. I've enjoyed it. Man, I really can't wait till we can all get in Arkansas sometime together. I think that's going to be fun. I think that's going to be... I mean, Will and them, they're headed there now. I hope they... I know they're going to kill them. I know they're going to get on them and kill them, man. Arkansas is getting loaded. They got a chance of snow this week. That's gonna push birds around, and, man, they're going to hit it about right for about 8 days and get after them pretty good. So I'm kind of jealous, but it is what it is. I mean, you got to be jealous when someone's hitting it that perfect. Almost, it seems like, but right. Those guys have got it figured out. They kind of pick their week a year out in advance, and it's luck. It's dumb luck. But man, they seem like they hit the lottery a lot on that trip. So we'll see. What is something you kind of took, just going back and forth? I mean, I think probably like what has been your most fun hunt so far? I mean, we've got to hunt a lot of timber and open backwaters, but I think the more timber hunts have been the fun ones, even though they've been not as successful. It's kind of taught me a few things, I feel like.
I mean, opening day was definitely a great time. So we got, a lot of numbers, a lot of fun there. One of our most recent hunts there in the buck hole with, Andy and Jake, and finding some ducks finding a pretty cool spot that, you had known about. I'd never really been in there when the water was the way it was. And just seeing a lot of flooded grass and throwing out decoys, and then knowing it's always fun when you know like you're exactly right at first light because the birds come in and they do it exactly how you thought they were going to do it.
That hunt, okay, so that hunt was kind of a nightmare for me. Must have been pleasant for you. So I've got a pup who she's actually doing really well. She's actually done hunting for the year, especially with it getting colder. I don't know what it is. Like, me and Will have litter mates, and I own their mom. And I mean, as far as a meat dog, I'd throw her up against a lot of people. She does have her dumb moments. She's getting a lot more retrieves on her this year, which is sharpening her up a ton. But his pup is how would you explain it for water? A crackhead? I mean, he is
a nut job for the water.
dude. He absolutely loves it. And then my pup acts like it's going to kill her, which I don't understand. Which I'd say like he took that pup a bunch swimming and stuff, and he's like a little nuthead. We make the joke that dog, all he cares about is getting in the boat, going for a boat ride, playing in the water, getting back in the boat, going back to the truck, and sleeping on the way home. That's what that dog cares about right now.
Pretty much. That's about right.
But you got to see it on one of your last hunts as they get wrapped up and you're ready to head to Arkansas. He kind of started putting 2 and 2 together there at the end, which is awesome.
He figured out a few, for sure.
I mean, it's all numbers of birds, man. And these dogs they're not getting a ton of birds knocked down in front of them, but man, they're getting a lot more birds knocked down in front of them than what you'd expect. Teal mine, she's actually loving the snow, which I do not freaking get at all. This pup, I want to kill her. She's running around in the yard like it's the greatest thing in the world, and my older dog's like, nope, I'm good. But like, I mean, it's crazy, man. She had a good field hunt in Ohio and picked up, I think, 8 or 9 birds one day, and that just kind of like turned her on pretty good. And I think that was kind of her last hunt. I'm gonna kind of leave her there. I'm gonna work her some on some ducks like when we bring them home and stuff. But that kind of set her up for I think where I want her to be when we end season. Like just wanting more of it, dying for it, wanting to do it, wanting to retrieve, but not get her where like she's dreading the hunt, kind of where we were at that one point. But the morning of that hunt was kind of a crap show. Water is low, like we talked about, and I hate that type of mud that we had to deal with, and it was not the fun mud. It was not the solid bottom mud. It was the I'm a big guy, and Andy's a little bigger than me, and it sunk me up deep. And I mean, it was one of those where if we didn't have my boat, we probably wouldn't have hunted. Plain simple, because we'd have been over bouncing off of everything, getting in there that we would have gave up. Also, I did not run my boat out of fuel this year, but I did not charge it. And we had a little click moment when me and you were kind of a long ways away from other people who had the other boat, which was not clicking. And I did not have the jump start on me. So luckily I shut all my lights off real quick and it fired up. And then I had to run it the rest of the morning without lights and just use my headlamp, which kind of sucked. Because I did
better than the alternative.
Yeah, better than alternative. She not working, and then us trying to figure that out. Which I had a game plan up to that point. It was not a game plan anyone was going to like, but it was a game plan that would have worked. I think it would have worked. I really don't know, to be honest. But man, it was definitely. I don't know. It's definitely like one of those hunts where like I like to be set up early. I like to have 30 minutes, have a little. We'd been doing breakfast every morning. We didn't do breakfast that morning, and I named the dog Teal, which Andy complained last year when I named the dog Teal. I was like, how am I going to differentiate the difference in the word of teal and teal? And I'm like, I don't know. We don't shoot that many teal. And of course, said morning, you guys start going, there's teals in the decoy. And I'm like, damn it, dog. You don't ever want to be in the water. Now you're in the water. So I'm trying to find the dog. And then like, someone was like, be quiet. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm trying to catch my dog. And then Andy goes, no, teal are in the decoy. And that's when I realized, I was like, oh. Didn't get my gun loaded. I don't even think my gun ever really got loaded that morning. But yeah, it was definitely one of those mornings that like, I'll never forget in Ohio. But, took an ass whooping. I took an ass whooping. Everybody else just shot poorly. We'll put it that way.
We definitely shot poorly. It should have been a much better deal. But,
yeah,
I said, sometimes you just gotta. That's part of hunting. You got to figure out the fun parts of it and just embrace that. Like I said, we just picked that spot out and then threw out decoys, tried to set them up the best we could and figure out the hide. And, we thought, okay, they're going to come over our left shoulder and just drop right in right here. And then first group, like right at shooting light, did exactly what we thought.
They did it like perfect. It was definitely one of those moments where you're like, shit.
You're like, yeah, man, I'm not so bad at this. And then call the shot and come up out of there and, knock like 2 birds down. And you think, well, No, maybe I am pretty bad at this.
I had bragged on my shooting up until recent, and then it went real shitty real quick with my 20 gauge. Which I became a Benelli guy this year. I know you're a Beretta guy, and everybody else I hunt with is pretty well Beretta. Other than there's one or two Benelli guys in the group, and then
Andy's still on the Benelli train. I think Sean is too.
oh yeah, Sean joined the Benelli. Okay, yeah, so I guess
me and
Jake. Yeah,
and Justin and John are both Beretta guys.
yeah, and Jake's got a Beretta 20. He shoots, but I had a rough one the other day, and I don't know. Screw it, I can say it on here because my podcast. I can say what I want. I had to finish off 2 geese with a spud pole the other day because my 20 gauge didn't finish them off. And that was a funny one. About threw my knee out, about tore my ACL. Yeah, I mean, ex-athlete.
My weapon of choice used to be a kayak paddle.
I mean, it's not what you want, but it was what I had. It was the cards I was dealt at that moment, and I was just I do enjoy that Will was getting a cackle out of the situation while he is not the one blowing his knee out. But so I don't what new did you really get any new gadgets this year for hunting? Or are you kind of just the guy who gets a benefit off of all my fun gadgets? Because I'm the gadget guy, as I've been called.
I mean, I got your little geese, and so far those have been my favorite addition to my hunting spread.
Nathan and his habits of rebuying all his decoys.
Well,
yeah, man.
Being able to throw an extra, 1.5 dozen geese into the boat, and I only have one extra decoy bag is pretty cool.
Yeah, so you're talking about the tangle-free lesser geese, which I ran last year. Killed geese over top of them, didn't have a bit of problem. They are, for people who don't know, who like tangle-free decoys. They fit in the 12-slot duck bag, the flight series bags, not the small bags, because they have 2 different size duck bags. That's something to know. They have the flight, and then they have the the regular duck one.
Right.
And man, I love those geese. I really did. But in preparations for us going to Arkansas, I had decided to make a switch. Because if you weigh them out, I run mud boats, which we'll get to that in a second. A 12 of tangle free they weigh 40 pounds. Well, I switched to the heyday decoys, and they weigh like 20 pounds per dozen. So I was able to get 2 dozen per dozen of basically the other ones. And
right.
The geese were kind of the same way. I think I've got 18 for the weight of, I got 16 for the weight of 12. So that was my trade-off. I traded decoys and I've liked them so far. They've worked. I haven't had a problem with them. They've definitely benefited at moments when we've had to pack some stuff a little bit this year. It's been nice to have the lighter items versus something heavier. Especially in Arkansas, we walked almost a mile one day, and we should have took both bags of 4 dozen, but we didn't. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely like that's their big selling point, and that's what I like about them. So that was my thing. I mean, I don't know. I think you can kill ducks over a lot of different looking stuff, so I don't think it matters what your decoys kind of look like to an extent. Yeah, flocked is nice, but I think you can still kill them over about anything if you're in the right place.
Yeah, I would agree there.
Yeah, but that was so. I mean, you didn't get anything else new. God, I really do have a purchasing problem.
I mean, my buddy Andy made me a nice cable, metal cable duck tote. It's got the crimps and the loose slide and all of that. Been putting some birds in that, and it's lightweight, but it's super heavy duty, so you're able to load it up with a lot of ducks. I like that. I'm trying to think if I really add anything else. I mean, for me, I had a buddy that I knew that was real nice to me, and completely rewired my boat in the off season. So that made a big difference in my duck season as far as just being able to, look at my depth finder and not be night blinded because I had to turn around behind me. And My batteries have been fully charged on every outing, and all of my electronics turn on when they're supposed to. So
True. We haven't really talked much about your boat, but I guess you haven't. Justin. I mean, he basically the first hunt he takes his. Well, not his first hunt. I guess he had his boat out on other hunts. But yeah, I guess he's the only one that's had true dead battery problems. And he didn't have a jump
I don't
starter.
really know what caused that. I have my suspicions as far as.
I think he didn't maintain his batteries very well. I'll call him for it.
Yeah.
Because my dad called me for that on my boat, which we'll go to in a second. But I do got to give a shout out to Bluebird Waterfowl. My little splashy things, I love them. We've used them a ton, and I mean, dude, I know they're more for the sound, but dude, I do love the water motion they kind of add, and the way I've used them this year. We'll kind of go over that after the season. I'm going to keep doing that because I'm not running my spinners full time. I'm kind of doing like a little rotation thing with them, and we'll kind of talk about that a little more after the season if it continues to work. I don't want to say it's working now and then in 1 week it looked like an idiot and not work. But the splashing off those have been great. I did have a hunt where I lost one. I don't know how either. I did it. Cody thought it was completely his fault, but it was my fault. And he was tore up about it, and I hit him up, kind of told him what happened. And I hit him up, and it was like 6:30 our time, 4:30 California time. And dude, he had one, like my order done and sent to me free of charge. I mean, I can't say much more. Like I was willing to pay to get it replaced. Like I mean, it was my fault. I lost it, and the dude hooked me up instantly. I've had him on the podcast before, dude. I truly love the product. I like the idea behind it. I mean, birds do. I mean, it's all based off sound. They hear your calls. They hear you talking. They hear water motion. They hear the sound of the water, dude. It's everyone like catches up on that stuff. And it plays a big role around anytime there's water motion or water sound involved. It's major. That's just my little spill on Bluebird. I love the product, and it's working great so far. It's one that I'll give that free tip out there. Other than that, I'd say, I've got to run the new Pond Creek call this year, which my calling has gotten a lot better. I will say that much. I don't know. It's still completely different when I hunt with certain people, and they're just outstanding callers, and I sound like crap with them. But I think when they're not around, I can sound good enough to kill some birds. That call fits me. We've kind of, me and you've traded around calls on hunts and stuff. Everybody does it. Everybody has a new different duck call, something different, and trading around and blowing it. And I think the biggest thing that is like finding something that fits you, just like you've kind of got your calls that fit you. And when you blow other stuff, it's completely different. And it blows my mind because it's just a style call too.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it can do with who's turned it and stuff. Like the KES calls, man, I think it takes, I'm diehard goose call on their part, but their duck calls, they don't fit me, which sucks. I do like Chris. I love Chris's calls, but I love his goose calls. But his duck calls, I just can't get them I sound more like a dying duck than I do a quacking duck for some reason.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I watched you calling ducks all year with them too.
Yeah, I tell people I kind of grew up blowing those as far as in my duck career. That was my first real duck call that, wasn't out of a plastic package, just like a poly call, KES, the corn cutter and a little row. And that was kind of what I really learned to make like real duck noises on. So now when I pick up something different, because you don't really realize how different they are from the rest of the market until you try and blow other calls. And then you kind of realize like, well, those are a whole lot different as far as the amount of air and how you have to pressurize and whatnot. And then, when you throw that into the way we hunt and everything else, it's hard for me to switch over to something else. That was that single or the double reed cut down you gave me the other day. I've been toying with that. Andy says I sound pretty good on it, but to me, I still sound like a kazoo or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's my singleton, which I love my singleton cut downs. I mean, it's kind of like, I tried to recomplete train myself because I went from a certain type of call that wasn't like just a simple poly call, and then I switched to KES. And I picked up their goose calls, and it was like the first legit goose call I ever blew. And I've had a couple other ones, and I now own 6 or 7, maybe 8 KS goose calls, and I freaking love them, man. I mean, it's what me, my brother-in-law, all you guys run. I mean, they're definitely just, I don't know, man. I don't think there's something that sounds more realistic as a goose as them. And it's just something I've become a fan of. I became a fan of small batch calls. That's kind of how I ended up with my Pond Creek. I don't know if he's small batch, small shop. I'd call it small shop. Forrest, I've had him on here, man. And this new frame he has, dude, I freaking love it. I'm actually sending back my other Pond Creek. I don't know if I'm going to send it back or I'm just going to have him turn me another one. It's kind of like torn between just having him make me a complete another one, which I might do, and just tell him, like, throw a different cord wrap on it. But, like, it's a cedar insert, and I forget, walnut barrel. Dude, I love this thing, man. It sounds ducky. I don't know, man. It's just one of, I know Will's tried to snake it off of me a few times, and he's like, well, you can, and he blew the other one, and he likes this one better too. So I don't know what Force changed. I mean, he's the same guy, turned both calls, and he changed something, and I don't know what it is, because I don't even change my own reads. I have someone else do my reads for me. I can't change reads. I don't know how. That's
kind of how I've always been too.
I can tune a goose call if the read is fine. If the read is messed up and needs a new read, I can't shave it. I don't know how to do any of that. But if the read is fine, I can tune a goose call, whether make it tighter or looser. A duck call, can't even touch it. I've cut a couple. I've got like a little selection of like reads where like I've tried to tune something and it turns out real bad, real bad. And I don't. It looks identical, and I don't know how it's different. But that's what it is. I mean, there's reed thickness, there's all that. I don't know if there's anything like small really I've changed up this year outside of that. Oh, we can. Okay, should we go onto the boat situation, or should we jump to mine and yours current favorite part of our duck hunts, and that'd be the cigars, which is what we're really going to end up probably talking about tonight, is bourbon and cigars. We can hit the boat quick. Because you can get in the cigars, and like I'm just still trying to learn cigars, which my wife is eventually.
Me too.
My wife is slowly learning, and I mean it's just like I don't know what it is about the cigars. It's just something about like it I don't know. We'll get into it, but no. So Thanksgiving weekend, I haven't really posted crap about it. I mean, I'd say a few people have seen it. A few people here have seen it. I mean, yes, you've seen it out, but I don't have my Excel no more. After basically spending all summer, like getting my Excel set up, wired, all that, doing the exterior, finishing the interior lights, fixing your Excel, and been like, oh, we're going to be Team Excel. We're going to run Excel together. My buddy Wade's they run an Excel. I'll be like, yeah, we can all hunt together and have the 3 Excels. Mid-November, I started making the change. My brother-in-law had been bugging me about a boat, and we were set to go to Arkansas. Someone was still going to be playing football like a little jerkhead, which you ended up not being, but that's a sore subject, so we won't bring that one up. Someone else was kind of having to back out of the trip, so we were left with my Excel and then a side console boat. And it just wasn't going to go well. It wasn't going to be a good. It was just going to make it tough. We were going to be able to do it. This is only my way to justify it. So like this is my bullshit reason for it. But we my father-in-law and brother-in-law was on their way home from Wyoming. I kept hitting them up, and like they were talking about boats, and I was like, well, like if you would want to buy mine, I'd tell you mine for what payoff is. And we can work out a deal and yada yada yada. And my brother-in-law he got really interested in it. And I kind of told him, I was like, you've got a lot of financial irons in the fire. If my father-in-law jumps on board, and this is about to sound bad, and me and Drew discussed it, because I told him, I was like, dude, you have so much financials on the line. You need to care more about your truck and your house if something comes up versus like a boat payment. Because he was like, hey, you just keep the payments. and I'll just pay you because I have a great interest rate on it currently. And he decided that was kind of the route they were going to go, and my father-in-law went in, and I quickly made the phone call and the adjustments, and picked up a gator tail out of Alabama. And other than having to drive to Alabama like the day before Thanksgiving and pick it up, like a turnaround, 8 hours down, 8 hours back. I think we left 3 a.m. and was back by we left 3 a.m. and we was back here by 7 o'clock with it. Me and my dad. Dude, I've been a big fan of it, dude. That boat, like, I like the Excels. And I'll tell people right now, like, dude, I think the Excels and the Gator Tails are two completely different boats, but two boats that are definitely paired together very well. It runs about the same speed. The motor was a little different getting used to. I still like the Mud Buddy motor. I kind of miss it a little bit because of some of the features. But man, the wife made a deal that, if I bought another boat, it had to be one and done. It had to be fully rigged out, ready to go, sea deck installed, and she looks sharp. She does look sharp.
She does.
She does look sharp. I mean, I have to brag a little bit on. People brag about their trucks. I'm gonna brag about that boat for a while.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's got the Southern Light LEDs in it. Which I bought it from one of their dealerships, and it's got Southern Cooler Co's hydrodecking in it. It just looks sharp. And I'm still learning about it. I ran the batteries dead once on it already because I wasn't thinking how much those Southern Lights LEDs pull, but apparently they're a lot. And I almost ran it dead one time while we were hunting. So twice I've almost done it. I love that boat, man. It has been very useful so far for us. I think it has kind of been a little bit of the anchor that's kind of helped us kill a few ducks with its ability to do some stuff.
I agree.
I mean,
for sure.
It's nothing major, nothing super fancy, but like it's definitely had a couple moments where it's shined. Which Drew's got the Excel. The Mud Buddy would have shined just as well, but it wasn't there. So that's all that matters. The Gator Tail stole those shows. But let's talk about our new favorite thing to do, which is and it's kind of made the mornings better. I don't know. We started talking about this back in the summer, and I was like, hey, I want to have a cigar every morning and relax. We started doing it last season, and those last couple of hunts we did it on, I don't know, like I was just relaxed. If I had time to smoke the cigar, I was set up. I was ready to go, and It's like the morning went smooth, and we killed birds. And I was like, hey, I'm going to bring that into this year now. Has the morning went smooth every time? No. Have I smoked a cigar every morning? No. Smoked a cigar most mornings, and have we killed birds most mornings? I feel like I have. I feel like it's combined very well, or we've at least worked birds. I do want to say I think we've been also picky on our shots, which is good. We've wanted them more finished rather than popping them maybe on a passing shot that they've definitely been in range for. But yeah, man, you tell me, like, what was it that got you kind of in the cigars?
I don't know. I mean, so cigars used to be something. I mean, my grandfathers, both of them, enjoyed cigars a lot. That was something I kind of probably wrongfully emulated as a kid, and then I remember like with buddies, like once I turned like 18 back then, you could buy tobacco and whatnot. We would go and like go fishing or something and smoke a cheap little stupid cigar. And I think Sean Huffman was the one that said, we should get some cigars. And we were going on a trip to Kentucky to hunt, and he mentioned we should get some cigars to take. So I did. And we smoked them at the camp that evening, and it was fun. I don't know. And then really what kind of got it really rolling was morning of Andy's wedding. We went out hunting, me and him, and I told him, we'll bring the cigars. We'll have a nip of bourbon, we'll enjoy the morning, get ready for your wedding, and maybe shoot some ducks. And shot a pile of spoonies and smoked a couple of trash cigars, and I thought, there might be something to this. Like, might need to continue this. And then the one day we went to uh, hunt up there in Ohio, and you like didn't have a place to go or something happened. I don't remember how that worked, but
We were locked out of our ramp. Our ramp was frozen, so we made about an hour and a half convert over to some fellers that were nice enough to let us join and gave us shit when we got there.
Come on, the only price of admission is a box of cigars. So,
and I sucked at what cigars I bought, so he had to teach me a little more that day.
That's all right though. I mean, it was like good luck charm. We had a really nice shoot that morning, so it's kind of been the thing. And then I went on a bachelor party down to my buddies in Florida, and we played a lot of golf and smoked some cigars, and just kind of made me feel like that's something I wanted to try. And I stopped at a little local shop and picked up a few. Like, I think that was going into summer, and found a few that I liked, and thought a couple that were like coffee infused, coffee flavored, and I thought these would be really nice in the mornings for duck hunting. So just kind of where it's gone from there.
Yeah, I mean that's what kind of been my thing was like, when I started, I was like, hey, I need help. I want to buy some cigars. You kind of gave me because they're not cheap. None of them are cheap.
No, even the cheap ones are not cheap.
Yeah. I mean, a cheap cigar is like $4 of the good ones, and like the $4 ones are actually the shitty ones, so it's more like $8 a stick.
Yeah, for sure.
So we kind of found a couple websites that we've now purchased through. I can't. Drew Estates is the ones that like kind of hit the moment has been my favorites. We kind of had some of those opening day, and that was just kind of like that was a different cigar, man. Those things, those mocha coffee infused ones, man. I'm trying to find a way to. I would sell all the cigars I have now to kind of switch to those, but I did just get some of the. I'm gonna screw up the name of them. The little round cigars that are coffee infused. The start with a T. I always screw up their names.
The Tatianas.
Yeah, Tatianas. Yeah. I always, dude. When I think of that, I think of I've watched it way too many times. Is Narcos Mexico? Not Mexico. Narcos is the Colombia one.
Right.
Pablo Escobar's wife, Tatiana. Like that's what like I think of every time I say it. I just want to say it the way he says it, Tatiana. But man, like those have been like kind of my favorites. I just bought another sampler pack of 24 of those, so they're kind of going to ride me out for the rest of the year. I mean, it's kind of turned into we smoke one, maybe two in the mornings, and that's kind of it. I mean, it's not really even it's more of just I don't know, man. If you could get me like a pipe, I'd smoke them out of a pipe too. I think it's just that nostalgia that it kind of feels like the old days. Like I don't like I don't rub, I don't chew, I don't do none of that stuff. That makes me want to gag and throw up. I don't like cigarettes. I can't stand the smell of cigarettes, but like a good cigar, I can handle being around. And I don't know, it just kind of gives you that. Is it this? I don't know how to say it, but it just kind of gives you that moment that it's kind of like, man, it just kind of relaxes you and kind of just shows you that this is kind of like, it settles you in for the morning, I feel like.
Yeah. I think it's, like you said, it's something to just kind of make you slow down and enjoy like being out there. And, because sometimes I think we get so focused in on trying to make the kills and find the right spots and make sure the decoys are right and all that. And sometimes you just kind of sit down and enjoy a smoke and, kind of watch the world wake up every morning and hope to see some birds flying. And I think it just kind of, for me, it helps me just kind of, focus in and relax a little bit and just enjoy the ride, enjoy being there and not stress about the rest of it.
Yeah, I think that would agree. Like, man, it's just kind of like resets the moment. And like I said, I mean, even I've tried to do it, even if it's right at shooting time, I try to sit down, calm down for a second, light a cigar, and just sit there and relax and just be like, okay, we're kind of here. Like, take it all in. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
So many times you just, like I said, like I've done better this year not being so much after the kill. I had gotten like kill greedy every once in a while. And what I regret most about those days are the days that like I didn't pull out the camera that would like, man, we could have took some awesome photos and stuff this morning.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to change that on this second half of this last split and just kind of, you know, have the camera more out and the gun less out and just kind of enjoy the rest of this ride because I think it's going to get fun eventually. I do think it's going to be tough here for a week and a half here. But I do think, you know, we're gonna be lighting up cigars eventually sometime soon and kind of get to relax and enjoy the morning what could be.
Yeah, for sure.
I do say this off season I am gonna have to buy some more Drew Estates because I've tried to buy them but they are quite expensive. Those are those $8, $10 a stick kind of cigars and
yeah, for sure.
Financially, man, they are just tough to try to buy, man. I got another buddy who randomly I work with who he is like me and Nick love cigars, but that dude is like he has everything you would want. He has like the little cooler style humidifier and he's got like 200 and some sticks in it. And like he's brought me a few and just been like, here, dude, try this one. And I mean, he always brings me like, I kind of feel bad because he brings like an $8-10 stick like every time. And I'm like, dude, thank you. Not going to pay you for this, but thank you. I'm like, I gotta have lunch this week, so can't afford it.
The best cigar is always a free one.
Yeah, man. Man, I don't know, man. It's just definitely I haven't really paired one with a bourbon yet. That's been something I haven't done. I know you've got to enjoy some in the evening after winning some football games. Y'all paired a few with some bourbons and
I did that all summer, fall long, man. It's exquisite for sure.
I do
almost as good as having one with morning coffee in a duck blind, but
I'm definitely probably going to this summer in the evenings. You know, we got the back deck. We're gonna try the boys are getting a little older. Where hopefully they're gonna start putting themselves to bed a little better. You know, being 3 and 2.5, like hopefully they'll be 5 and 2.5. They'll do a little better about putting themselves to bed and stuff. So we'll have a little more time maybe to go out on the back deck and enjoy the evenings. Me and the wife, and definitely may have to light a few up. We'll see how she reacts to that. Probably not gonna be the best. So I may be murdered this summer. We did have an interesting morning the other morning with me and Drew, and we'll start wrapping this up. And this was one morning I shot really, really bad. I didn't have my cigar. And I looked at my brother-in-law and I go, hey, he's to my right. My father-in-law's 2 people to my left. I was like, hey, so what's the option here lighting up a cigar? Like, are we able to do this? Or like, I'm not scared of my father-in-law. I also just doesn't want his judgment attitude at that moment. And I just paid for his hunting license like an hour before because he realized he hadn't bought him yet, so I had to pay for him. So that he was legal by shooting time, and it's definitely like it was a funny moment. He's like, I don't know, light it up. I was like, well, why don't you light one up first? Like, why don't you light yours up and then I'll light mine up? Like, I was like, if we're gonna get yelled at here, you have worse habits than I have. Like, let's let him yell at you. Like, I'm an alcoholic. Like, he already has steam on me, which he's an alcoholic too. Not an alcoholic, but we do enjoy our drinks. I tell you the coolest gift I got, which is right here. If I don't break it or spill it from Christmas. This is actually from my brother-in-law. Is a little decanter. Don't really know much about it, other than I do know if you drop it, it won't break, supposedly. I'm not testing it, but
I wouldn't test that. But yeah.
No, I haven't tested it yet. But no, it's definitely it's got some Elijah Taylor in it right now. So it's doing pretty good.
I just finished a few fingers of Buffalo Trace. So.
I have drank more than probably a couple of fingers of Elijah Craig by now. Between the setup issues and stuff, I just was like, screw it, we're drinking tonight.
Love it.
something I want to hit on that's kind of a pain in the ass. That we had an argument the other day in the blind, and I had to win it because we had to get people legal for hunting. Luckily, Will was there with me. But the stupid hip cards and so your hunting license renewed January 1 also, but your hip cards do also. It's kind of like I wish we could work with the Western Indian DNR and like find a way to like shift those to like one of the free fishing weekends, and then they renew on like one of the free fishing weekends. Because man, they're at a horrible time of the year. Like, I mean, you have deer seasons going on, duck seasons going on, rabbit, all kinds of like fur bear seasons, and yet you got to worry about renewing a freaking license and making sure it's right. Just because, like, and especially if like kids are hunting like Christmas break or something, they buy their license, they got to rebuy their license in like 4 days. It's kind of annoying. That is something.
I mean, I've always hated that. You know, like I do a lot of fishing and stuff in Kentucky with my dad. We fish down there. I think we fish in Kentucky almost as much as we do in West Virginia between a few of the lakes there in eastern Kentucky. But their fishing license, hunting license, all of it is like March to March. And all the hunting seasons are over by then. You just start, like, there's kind of a lull there where people aren't necessarily out doing a ton of fishing. So it's like into February, into March, I feel like West Virginia could get on board. It would probably be the perfect time to,
Yeah, I think Ohio renews on March as well. I'm trying to think when my Ohio license renew, because they're on auto renew.
Yeah.
I just go ahead and spend that money. I'm like, screw it. If it comes out of my account automatically, I know everyone else just waits. I'm like, screw it. Because I haven't found a spot turkey on over there yet, so I don't know why I renew automatically, but I'll figure it out at some point in time. But no, man, like I'm kind of excited how the season's kind of went so far. This is kind of just like a little recap. I've been needing to kind of get the podcast stuff out, chit chat. We chit chat 24/7 on the phone, giving each other shit and everything else. I really want to get on here with Tyler and us kind of break down our trip to Arkansas sometime this summer and kind of think about what things we kind of would have done different. The landscapes of the game down there is just so crazy. Like it'd be so easy to break it down if I showed someone like on a map, but then again, like you need to go learn it yourself versus me spoon feeding it to you. I think that was something that I seen today by Cal Jones. You gotta quit name dropping everything. As much as it seems like it's it's whatever. I think it's got to change, and it's kind of bullshit. That's got to change. It's kind of like shot chasers, social media chasers. There's a couple groups out there that do a really good job of hiding where they're hunting at and they're filming. There's other groups that do not do a good job of hiding where they're hunting at and filming. Like some people probably know where some people are, but as the general public, like it's hard to find where they are. I mean, it's a big thing, man. People don't like to share places. A lot of my stuff stays discreet till February just because I'm asked to keep it discreet till February. So that's kind of how, I mean, I get it. It's whatever. No pal picks till February. I'm fine with it. It's whatever. What's funny is like I've actually had photos get posted on social media by other companies, not by me. And I just ask that I don't be tagged in it. So, I mean, it's just like they're usually fair about it. Like, sure, whatever. It's our product that's getting like the sponsorship in it. Something I thought of because it was in one of the photos. Dude, my leather duck totes. I have been an extreme fan of those. I've been able to hold count pretty well on having both of them. We've only had to do that. I've only really had to hold count like twice. And really, really hold a solid, like, good count and make sure everything's going right. And the one day, someone else was holding them, and they screwed me up on the count. And we didn't overshoot, we undershot, and then when we did our last count, we were like, shit, we're short a bird. What happened here? And I'd rather be that way, you know what I mean? We counted a bird twice, which is better than not count a bird twice. But it was kind of like at the same time we're like, crap. And then we like hurry up. We did like kind of sit around and shoot another one. But we were looking for bonus birds anyways that day. But like, yeah, it was funny that I was like, how did I mess up the count? And they were like, well, I think you counted the bird that was in my hand, and you counted it for me and that person that he was doing the shoot. What's it called? Finisher. They were finishing one, right. and it got counted in that guy's hands, and it got counted going on the strap it went on. So you'll have that because you are supposed to. I don't know if it's West Virginia. I know it's like it's in to Arkansas. You got to hold your birds. They're supposed to be separated, which I usually try to keep them separated by like lanyards. I have those two. I have two leather lanyards, which I can hold 4 people's count with my dog picking up. So like if we go over that, like, I mean, we're having a great day anyways. I don't care to start throwing birds around to share them, but I can hold 4 people's count with my dog picking up. And usually, we've hunted 3 dogs a bunch this year. So, I mean, like, we haven't been short dogs yet on a hunt, so.
For sure.
Except for one. It was ice, though, so. But, man, it's been a fun conversation. Is there anything else I can think of that you can think of that we haven't, like, really talked about, bullshitted about?
Not much. Just got to finish this season out strong.
Finish it out. We'll, hopefully get to do a summer recap when you're hanging out at the house and we're bullshitting. I am going to try to take I need to try to grab the other mics. I would like to do a 4-person podcast while hunting. It's gonna take some camera positioning and whatnot to figure it all out so we can keep everything discreet. But that's gonna be the new goal. Maybe like one of the last days of the year. Maybe we'll have to figure that out.
For sure.
I've seen it done once or twice, and it's just pretty cool environment and stuff. So, that's all. That's kind of all I've got, man. I guess I'll holler at you probably tomorrow. We talk every day. Dude, man, get after him this week. I mean, you're getting a hunt before I will since you're a lovely school teacher and we're not in school at all.
I think we're going to try it tomorrow. So.
Take you some shovels because it's deep. It's deep snow.
Yeah, that's going to be the problem.
But so go dig it. Go dig you a little hole out and see what happens. I hope you all get on it, man. I will be I'll be FaceTiming you in the morning when I get up.
Sounds good.
I'm probably gonna FaceTime Andy since he called me at 6 a.m. this morning and woke me up, which was kind of a nice thing. But since my alarm kind of didn't wake me up.
There you go.
All right, man. I'll holler at you later.
All right, guys.
See ya. Bye. Well, that kind of wraps up that podcast. It was kind of just a bullshit talking back and forth. We're just kind of recapping, what all we've done. We've had a great year so far. We've been on hunts where we've killed a decent amount of birds. But we got to finish it out, man. We got to take what we've learned, and that's the thing, man. Take everything you learn every time, man. Write it down. I'm going to try to get the guys one from Hunt Proof here soon. We're going to do their podcast, do a podcast with those guys. I'm actually might even leave this set up kind of, see if I can't get them on here within the next week or so. We can kind of talk with those guys because their product is doing a major thing for me. It's helping me like record all my information, keep everything in line, and kind of make notes and keep track of everything. So as always, you guys have a outstanding night. Tell somebody you love them. Peace out.